Welcome to the Maryland Means Business Podcast. I'm Cal, here with Chessie, and I want to start today by owning something you called out on our way off the air last week.
Uh-oh. What did I say?
You pointed out that we just run an entire episode, nurses, teachers, a $300 million solar deal without a single storefront in it. 0 ribbon cuttings, all Annapolis, all the time.
I remember. It felt a little off, like the show forgot what it's actually for, which is business owners, not just state test releases, no matter how big the dollar figure attached to them is.
Well, correction issued. Today, it's a bakery, a grooming lounge, and a sandwich shop. Real doors, real employees. Jobs that start this month, not sometime in 2028.
Now that's the show I signed up for. No offense to the solar deal. Where do we start?
Let's start easy. Cockeysville. Potbelly is opening its second Baltimore County location, this one at Yorktown Plaza on Cranbrook Road. Doors open Tuesday, August 25th.
Second in the county. Where's the first?
Towson, over on LaSalle Road. And it's not an isolated bet either. Potbelly says they're running 26 locations statewide, more than 10 of those in the Baltimore metro alone.
26 sandwich shops, and I still somehow always end up at the one that's 15 minutes further than I wanted to drive.
That's a you problem, Chessie, not a Potbelly problem. Their regional director, Ibu Jagne, said the York Road corridor keeps drawing meaningful investment and renewed energy, and that's exactly the kind of momentum they want to be part of.
That's actually a useful signal for any owner scouting a second location yourself. When a national chain plans a second flag 2 towns over from its first, that's the corridor to watch. Landlords notice that faster than any market report ever will.
It's worth remembering, too. Quick service expansion like this doesn't happen on a whim. Somebody at that company ran the traffic counts, the lease comps, probably the demographics within a 3-mile ring before anybody signed anything. If you're a small operator, that homework is free to copy, even if the capital isn't.
Steal the research, skip the corporate real estate team. I like that framing.
It's also a decent reminder that quick service chains don't grow randomly. Every new location is a bet that a specific neighborhood can support one more lunch spot. And when that bet keeps landing in the same general area, it tells you something about where the actual foot traffic is heading, not just where the cheap rent happens to be. And there's a grand opening plan for September 12th. First 50 customers in the door get free Potbelly for an entire year.
A year of free sandwiches for showing up early on a random Saturday? Somebody in Cockeysville is going to camp out overnight for that.
Don't threaten me with a good time. All right, next stop. Bethesda.
This one's fun. Hammer and Nails just opened its first Montgomery County location, downtown on Woodmont Avenue. It's a men's grooming lounge. Haircuts, straight razor shaves, waxing, even manicures and pedicures.
Manicures for men, on purpose, as a normal thing. Good. Honestly, overdue.
It's owned by a husband and wife team, Brad and Melissa Blanken. The brand actually started out in California back in 2013, and it runs on a membership model, though they'll still take you as a walk-in or a la carte if that's more your speed.
That hybrid is smarter than it sounds. Membership gives you predictable, recurring cash flow every month before a single walk-in ever sits in the chair, and the a la carte option means you're not turning away anybody who just wants to try the place once. That's a model plenty of local salons and gyms in this state could learn from, honestly, and a lot of them haven't figured it out yet.
It also changes how you staff. If a chunk of your revenue is locked in every month, regardless of walk-in traffic, you can actually plan payroll instead of white-knuckling it week to week like a lot of service businesses do.
Exactly the kind of boring back-office decision that determines whether a small business survives a second year.
And the men's grooming side of this isn't a fluke either. We keep seeing more of these dedicated men's spaces open around the DMV, not just barbershops bolted onto a chain salon. Owners are betting there's real demand for a place built specifically around that experience, and Bethesda getting one first among the Montgomery County locations tracks with how much foot traffic that stretch of Woodmont already pulls. And this isn't a one and done for the Blankens either. They've already got a second location at Cabin John in Potomac opening late October, and a third planned at Kentland's Market Square in Gaithersburg.
3 Montgomery County locations before you've even had time to book your first appointment at the first one. That's confidence. Or it's a very well-funded franchise agreement. Possibly both.
Brad Blanken said it plainly. He wants to be a positive part of the community. That's the whole goal. Simple mission statement, but I'll take it over a paragraph of corporate values language any day.
I like when a business just says the quiet part. No mission statement generator required. Okay. Save the biggest one for last, Chessie. That's usually your job.
Cal, I have never once missed this. Columbia. Roggenart.
Roggenart is converting the old Hysteria Brewing Building on Burger Road in Columbia into an 11,000 square foot central commissary and headquarters. That's a serious upgrade from the 4,500 square feet they've been working out of at Savage Mill.
That's not a modest jump. That's more than doubling your production footprint. That's the kind of move you make when you're done staying comfortable and you're actually serious about scaling.
It is. 20 new jobs come out of the new commissary alone, and Roggenart is already at 170 employees company-wide. 12 locations right now across Maryland, Virginia, and even Chicago, and the stated target is 30.
30 locations. That's not a someday number. That's a number with a construction timeline attached to it.
And it's not just more cafes stamped out with the same footprint either. New Roggenart spots are planned in Bel Air, Baltimore City, the D.C. suburbs, and Montgomery County before the end of the year, and there's a franchise program in development.
A homegrown Maryland bakery going the franchise route. I want to watch that spread the same way Wonder's food halls kept popping up state to state, one location at a time, until suddenly you're checking whether the 9th one opened near you yet.
Different products, same instinct though. Build the engine first, then let it run. Owner Nim Popov put it this way: the key to everything is the new central bakery. It's what lets them grow while still doing things the way they always have.
That's the tension every growing business owner in this state is wrestling with right now. How do you get bigger without losing the thing that made people love you when you were small in the first place?
And a central commissary is specifically how you protect that. If every location bakes its own bread with its own oven and its own crew, quality drifts, store to store, no matter how good your training manual is. Centralize the production, and the croissant in Bel Air tastes like the croissant in Columbia. That consistency is what actually lets a regional bakery become a real chain instead of just a bunch of same-name shops.
Roggenart's answer is apparently invest in the boring infrastructure before you chase the flashy expansion. That's not the sexy headline, but it's usually the one that actually works. Plenty of businesses open store number 10 before their ovens can keep up, and that's how you end up with unhappy customers instead of a real chain. There's also a partnership planned with Howard Community College culinary students, which is a nice touch, both a talent pipeline and genuinely good for the neighborhood. And worth remembering, this company started in 2017 on Falls Road, under a decade to 170 employees and a commissary build-out.
Under a decade. That's basically the whole story of Maryland's small business scene told through one bakery. And if the franchise program actually launches, that's an on-ramp for some other Maryland entrepreneur who wants to own a piece of it without starting completely from scratch.
Construction's expected to take 3 to 4 months once Columbia finishes permitting. So keep an eye out for that grand reopening.
We will. And Chessie's rule stands. Biggest number saved for last. And today it honestly wasn't close.
20 jobs and a target of 30 locations will do that. Not every episode needs a 9-figure government check to have a real headline.
All right, before we let you go, 2 quick things.
One of them pays the bills. Literally.
This episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Maryland Smart Energy. Smarter buildings, smaller bills. They help Maryland businesses cut their energy costs and their energy footprint through utility-funded programs. Nothing out of pocket.
And right now, through September, that includes HVAC tune-ups at no out-of-pocket cost, fully funded by Empower Maryland. If you want to get through the last stretch of summer heat without writing a check, that's the move. And honestly, you're already paying for it through the Empower Maryland line on your bill. Maryland's Smart Energy just helps you actually use it.
Worth saying plainly, too, since we talk AI on this show constantly, this whole episode is produced almost entirely with AI, and we're deliberate about which tools we use, the ones that cover their own energy and grid costs, instead of quietly pushing them onto your utility bill and mine.
Same idea as our sponsor, honestly. Keep the costs where they belong and be upfront about who's paying for what.
Find Maryland Smart Energy at mdsmartenergy.com, and every fact in today's episode is sourced and linked in the show notes.
That's the show. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. And now on YouTube if you'd rather watch Cal's face while he says 11,000 square feet like it's a personal victory.
It kinda is a personal victory. And if you want the news before we even finish recording it, head to marylandmeans.business for the newsletter.
And remember, Maryland means business.